Alright, 19 weeks to go to Cairns Ironman 2026 this coming June. For those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. For those who have been here before, welcome back. My name is Des Trindle. I'm a 57-year-old triathlete juggling the demands of work and family in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. So I do these little videos each week just to have a bit of a recap on how my training's gone, and hopefully you can find some value in that which can help you with yours. So if we look at, and we're going to get straight into it this week, if we look at Monday, so Monday was coming off the back of the Raby Bay race on the Sunday. So in the last video I spoke about the Raby Bay. I got the podium top step in that one, which was quite good, and that was an 850 or 800 meter swim, 24k bike ride and a 6k run. So I did a little bit of a talk about that in the last video, so I won't go much onto that. But the good thing is I pulled up very well from that, and I felt that on the day when I crossed the finish line. I felt like I could go again and do the whole race over again, which is what we want from this sort of base phase of our training cycle. So the week in a recap, I did 3 swims this week, 4 bikes and 4 runs. So the total workout time was approximately 15 hours thereabouts. So we kicked off with the Monday, and as I said, that was coming off the back of that Raby Bay Sunday, with a 90-minute Zone 2 ride in the morning, followed by a 2600 meter interval swim in the lunchtime. So in those interval swims, I'm still very much doing like a 400 meter freestyle warm-up, and then I'm doing 5 sets of 200s freestyle, and then 5 sets of 200s buoy and paddle, and I'm doing those just with a 45-second rest. So heaps of rest and looking just purely at the form and holding form, and not rushing those swims. So Monday evening I did some work. I had a work shift, and it was a late work shift from 3 p.m. till 10:30 p.m. So that was a bit of a late night, and I have to be mindful of that when I'm looking at my training the next day, and how that affects, especially how that affects my heart rate variability scores, because it can leave a little bit of residual fatigue there, especially if you're not getting a good night's sleep and that recovery. So Tuesday was pretty good. I felt good when I got up. It was a 90-minute, once again, Zone 2 run, so nothing special there. This is just this consistent base building type workout. So running along, keeping your heart rate in about that sort of, for me, 120, 125 area, and just being consistent with the work day in, day out. So that was my only training session for Tuesday. I had a day shift, so left for work at 10:30, and I think I was back about 6:30, 7 p.m. So it wasn't a late night, which was good. I could sort of catch up a little bit there. So into Wednesday, so the week's already halfway through, and we just really repeated what we did on Monday here. So it was another AM 90-minute Zone 2 ride, keeping it nice and moderate, not pushing the pace, just staying aero, concentrating on form and just rolling along. And it was actually not a bad morning, so it was an enjoyable ride. So lunchtime, this was an endurance swim this time, so it's 2500 meters, and it's literally just in the pool, 25 meters freestyle, no stopping. So just building that endurance, getting used to that, and that's about a 45-minute swim for me. So that's not too bad at this phase of training. So there was a work shift again, and it was another late work shift on Wednesday, so it was sort of 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. So this is where I was talking about balancing work and training, and you've got to be very mindful and very careful of that residual fatigue creeping up on you, especially towards the end of the week. And that rolls us into Thursday. So late night Wednesday, roll into Thursday. Actually didn't feel too bad, but I can feel it starting to build there. So I know I have to be careful, because I still want to get my good hours and good volume in on the weekend. So Thursday, it was a 60-minute upper Zone 2 run. So it's just letting it flow a little bit more, bringing the pace down a bit, keeping that heart rate sort of 130, 135 mark. And once again, concentrating on form and breathing, especially in that last 20 minutes of the run. where you can sort of tend, and it's a bit warmer up here still. It's February still in Queensland, so that humidity does sap it out of you, and you have to be aware of that as well. So Thursday I had a day shift, so I was working from about 9 o'clock to 6:30 in the afternoon. So that wasn't too bad. Get the day shift done. So now here's where I'm talking about that fatigue and monitoring yourself there. So Friday I was going to go out and do another 90-minute ride. My heart rate variability score was a little unbalanced. I actually felt a little tired as well. So what I did was I just brought that back to a zone 1 60-minute ride, and I even pulled up and had a coffee at the end of that ride and got in some sun before heading and having a fairly relaxed day. Because once again I was doing another evening shift at work, which was sort of 3 till 11 p.m. So I made sure I got a little bit of sleep during the day, caught up on a few chores, things like that, set all my training gear up for the weekend as well. I did my nutrition. I've done a great little video which I'll link down in the comments here on making your own gels as well. So did all that Friday, got myself squared away and off to work for the evening. Now the weekend was going to be a good weekend. I had no shifts scheduled for the weekend, so it just let me concentrate on training and recovery. So on the Saturday morning I got up, and remembering Friday night was a bit of a late night again, so I had to be mindful of that, and I did a 90-minute zone 2 run, and once again it's just that 120 hard rate, and it seems like pretty boring stuff, but it's just that consistency in the training, just backing up and listening to your body as you go along. So lunchtime, a 2,500 meters, and I repeated what I did on Monday with the intervals. So 400 meters, but this time I did 400 meters warm up, but this time I did the whole 10 times 200s with pull by and paddle. So more worked on that as a strength endurance set, kept that 45-second recovery rate and didn't push the 200s, just concentrated on form, concentrating on holding the water, and concentrated on the breathing throughout the set. So that finished off my Sunday. That finished off my Saturday. My Sunday, we got up, we had a good 3 hour and 30-minute zone 2 ride. So added a few little roller hills to that, went out into off the coast where I am. I'm in that sort of Redcliffe Margate area, and into sort of where Lakeside Raceway and that is, and worked a few of the hills along that area, and then down through Brendale, and then down to Nudgee and back up. So 3 hours 30, got off the bike, felt really good. I practiced a little bit of nutrition as well, so ran at sort of 60 grams of carbs in my gels, and I had another 30 grams in my bottles, just in basically sugar water. So 30 grams of sugar, a little bit of sodium in the salt, and a no sugar cordial for some flavouring, and that's what I was using in my bottles for that one. In the evening, or Sunday after, so I'm talking sort of 5:30 here, just a really light 20-minute zone 1 run, and that's nothing more, just to flush the legs out a little bit. And I also meet the wife down the beachfront, and we have a drink, and in my case just a soft drink, and walk the dog, and just a bit of family time as well, because as we know, we need to balance that with our training as well, otherwise things go south pretty quick. So anyway guys, that is my week in the review. If you have any questions, please feel free to throw them down into the comments. I do read those, and I do answer them whenever I get them. If you have subscribed to the channel, thank you so much. It does help, especially with the YouTube algorithms. If you haven't subscribed, please just take a second to pop down if you'd like to keep up with these sort of training, especially we have another 18 weeks to go into Cairns, and I'd like just to keep everyone up to speed with how my training's going. Anyway guys, stay safe out there and enjoy the process. Until next week, I'll see you then. Bye.